All right, so a wonderful video session there. Lots of good and funny stories. I want to go back to where I left off, which was Ephesians 5 and 33. And I want you to think of that as a commandment, but I also want you to think of the instructions there and that it may be defiance on our part if we are not adhering to those commands that are there in Ephesians 5:33. I have some discussion questions for you, and I want you, as I ask them, to pause the video, interact with your significant other, talk to them freely, and then when you're done with that discussion, don't get on the crazy cycle. I want you to click back over, and I'll continue to kind of guide the discussion. It will be rather brief, but I think good discussion, and we can have some very good talk since it's just those of us in our home. All right. So first question up is decoding the code. Now this is a good segment of it, and it's one where when we say certain things, we mean another, and it's hard for us to decipher what exactly the other one is talking about. For instance, when the woman says, "You never spend time with me," and you think, "What are you talking about? We just watched a 3-hour movie together. We were right beside one another." Not what she's talking about. What she's talking about is she's not feeling love during that time. That's not, I'll say it, her love language. Got to figure that one out. But she's not feeling love from her husband during this time, or time that has just passed. For the guys, we might say something like, we may be in the midst of a discussion, say, "I don't want to talk about it, drop it," and we stonewall, like he references in the video. And what does that mean in a discussion? Well, ladies, that means at some point we've felt disrespected, or we feel the disrespect coming on. And it may be a recurring thing. Every time this happens, you do this or you do that, and we don't want that. And so we stonewall, and we shut you down. And so this is something that I'll share. This is something that happens with us from time to time. And my big thing is I don't want to have those types of back and forth in front of my daughters, our kids. And I had to, over time, explain and really figure that out for myself. Why does that really get us on the crazy cycle? A lot of it is the audience of our kids. I don't want my girls to think that type of back and forth, the way it was going, is how marriage goes. It's not that I was saying anything inappropriate. We were simply disagreeing back and forth. But understand that when our kids are around it and they hear it, it becomes the script for their marriage. And those things can trigger the crazy cycle for generations to come. That's kind of scary, but that's what can happen. And so we really have to start to decipher one another's code. And I'm going to tell you, for a little while, until you can get really good at deciphering that code, I think it's okay to just call timeout and say, "When you say this, I hear this. Is that what you mean?" It's okay to have those clarifying understandings. All you're going to do is get to know one another really well. You already know everybody's favorite meal or favorite movie or what have you. Don't you think it would be good to invest some time in maybe deciphering what their words mean to them so that you can serve them better and vice versa? I think it would be pretty good. Remember the story from the video of the wife that passed away? That was an unsettling story, but a story that I think makes a very good point about the relationship crazy cycle that we find ourselves on from time to time. I really think when we're in the midst of one of these arguments, if we can look upon that situation with the emotion of caring and understanding, again, going back to, well, they're just different. They're different. They're hearing things differently than I am. I think it would benefit our marriages greatly. I really think if we stop and we say, why does this person feel this way? Or why is he acting this way? If we could do something like that, don't you think, yeah, we would probably come out better on the other end. Instead of the crazy cycle ending up in the silent treatment for a little while until we just finally decide, yeah, we have to talk to one another, and we never really resolve it. We just kind of put it over on that list, and it'll come up again someday. No, that's not the way it needs to happen. Now, I'm preaching here, but believe me, there's a list somewhere on me. Jeff Hernandez does this, and this. Yeah, I do, and I'm still working on it. I think we all should. So, let me ask you this, and I want you to stop and discuss. When you feel offended in the marriage, how can you decode one another's vulnerability? Talk to one another about this. When I hear this, I feel what? And you fill in the blank, and you go back and forth. Give each other 2-3 minutes to talk about. You do this a lot. Let's resolve this one. Okay? Pause, and then come back to me. All right. Did you pause? Okay. All right. Good. No, I believe you. No, that's fine. Good. Good job. Okay. Now, I hope that didn't put you on the crazy cycle. If it did, stop right there and go back and listen to one another with love and respect. I wanted to keep going a little bit and close us down just for a moment. I'm going to leave you with a verse. 1 Corinthians 7, 33 and 34. It's 2 verses. I can't count. 1 Corinthians 7, 33 and 34. And what I want you to discuss with one another is what those verses mean to you. So read them separately, give yourself a minute, and then I want you to discuss what that says about one another's good intentions, because I think it's really key to getting out of that crazy cycle that you don't assume bad intentions on your wife's part, on your husband's part. You can't just go through life offended all the time. You have to sit down and think, what role am I playing in this? And you have to think about the language that is being conveyed to you and the one that you're conveying. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. We may do a few more like this, but it'll probably be somebody else, so don't worry about that. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video and the questions here. Again, this is a wonderful, wonderful study, and you certainly can dig into this. But let me leave you with another discussion question that you can take on and really dig into this material. What do you think our responsibility as believers is to go the extra mile and not appear offended out in the world, but also in our marriage? What is our responsibility as believers to go the extra mile to not appear offended? And how would that structure or restructure the crazy cycle? I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed trying to record this thing and dig into these questions, work with one another, and I hope your marriage continues to get better and better each day. God bless you all. Spend some time in prayer. Good to see everyone.